No. Though I do feel a little bit higher than normal. This is a smooth one. Just a matter of getting in front of you.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and start.
Okay.
Okay, good evening. Welcome to the City of Groton Committee of the Whole for Monday, June 9th, 2025. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Hedrick, Deputy Mayor Depot, Councilor Talley, Councilor Sheffield, Councilor Norris, and Councilor Piazza is present, just away from the desk at the moment.
Okay. So we're going to start out with new business finance. So update the tax rebate resolution. So Ron, I'll let you lead on.
Yep. So the first one, as you've been aware, there's been more and more tax refunds that have been coming through that have exceeded the $500 from the original resolution back in 1992. So we had talked about this at one point. A lot of them are like the enterprise and those types of things where cars are no longer here that the refunds are. So what we talked about when this did come up was to have a resolution that allowed the finance director to approve all of the tax refunds. We do have to pay them back. They are owed to the taxpayer. But to also put a whereas in there that the council is notified of all tax refunds over a certain dollar amount. So that is why that's highlighted. There's just a $5,000 placeholder. I'll leave that up to the consensus of the council as to what that amount is that they want to be aware of, if at all. But I just did want to put that in there, so I'll open the floor to that.
Okay, I'll open the floor for discussion. Deputy Mayor Depot.
So the number was 500 before?
Correct.
I don't see any reason why we wouldn't want to be notified, but I definitely, don't think we need to be approving them all. Do you know what the average one is
To be honest
that we've
with
been
you,
approving?
that you've been approving?
Yeah.
They've been a couple $1,000s. Usually it's the enterprise ones that are the bigger ones. There was one other one that was a judgment. That was a larger one. I forgot what the dollar amount was on that one. But usually they're the 2,000, 2,500 is usually the enterprise ones.
I mean, to me, I would think, I know you put the 5,000 in there, I would think anything over $1,000 maybe would be of interest, just so that we know that's happening.
Okay.
Because that's kind of a lot. And again, not that we have to discuss it in a meeting, but even just does that cover that? Like just an email to the council update?
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll just put, if we do have a refund that's over whatever that dollar amount is, say it's 1,000, we'll just include it in a cow packet with your backup material, but it
Okay.
won't be for discussion purposes or anything, but that way the council will be notified. So whatever that dollar amount is, we can go with.
I mean, I think to me, $1,000 is a reasonable amount considering, like just to get notice, but I think that's more than sufficient. It seems kind of silly to keep voting on it every time when we have no choice. We have to approve it.
Correct.
So
All right.
that's my thoughts.
So this is just notification. Any other, Councilor Sheffield?
Yeah, I agree with Deputy Mayor Depot. I think $1,000 is fine.
Okay. Any other discussion on this item? All right, then we'll change
We'll make
that
that
to
change, yep.
$1,000, so when you see it again, you'll have $1,000. So hearing no further discussion, take a motion to move this to the mayor and council meeting of June 16th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Okay, purchasing policy.
And this is something that we did discuss a few months back when we were updating the utility purchasing policy and changing some dollar amounts around. These amounts has been the 10,000 for quite some time now. It's definitely been over the 10 years since I've been here. And we've started to see a lot. When we first did this, when we changed the ordinance to a resolution and a policy, we looked at the 10,000 and there wasn't a lot of things that were coming, so we felt comfortable leaving it at the 10,000. As we've seen, there's more and more things that are coming above that $10,000 mark. State statute is 25,000 as far as bidding requirements go. So the only change that we are proposing in the policy is really changing that $10,000 for the bidding requirement and council approval and upping it to the 20,000. So now it would be written quotes would be needed for up to the 20,000. However, if there is a need, there still can be formally bid if that is the decision. So it doesn't mean that you only have to get the 3 quotes, but that will change that policy from the 10 to the 20, and it also ups the purchase orders, the original one from 1,000 for the department heads up to the 2,500. So just some small changes in dollar amounts, but no other changes as far as the wording of the policy.
Okay, I'll open the floor for discussion. Deputy Mayor Depot.
Thank you, Mayor. First, thank you for providing the track changes, because I like looking at that, because it makes it easier to see what we're changing. I know I've been on the council for more than 7 years, and the increase in prices has made so many more things have to come to the council. So I'm 100% on board with doing this. It makes a lot of sense. It's, you know, the intention of the original resolution wasn't to make every single thing come to us. So I think this kind of remedies that problem a little bit. And I think the numbers are reasonable, so I'm all for it.
Any other questions or comments on this item? Okay, hearing none, I'll take a motion to move this to the mayor and council of June 16, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. Okay, thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
All right, economic development, Sierra. So the first item, Five Corners Stormwater and Tree Planting Update, is informing only.
Alright, so, hi everyone. Our Five Corners Stormwater Project. Okay. Our Five Corners Stormwater Projects has kicked off. We have our assessment is underway. We've completed survey work thus far, and are in the process to develop a swim model, which will give us some ideas of where there's some water going, where we're seeing some flooding. So I handed you guys just something that shows the project area. Again, our project area is looking at anything from Fort Griswold all the way down to the Marine Science High School. That, and from Eastern Point, basically kind of over to Clarence B. Sharp Highway is probably an easy delineation point for where that is, but it's just a little bit beyond that. So this entire area is our focus area. And over the next couple of months, we are looking to identify causes of stormwater flooding within this area. We will develop a swim model. That swim model would look a little bit something like this for each section. It will start to, by color, lightest color is mild flooding, and as you get darker, you can see it just more intensity. But each section within that whole focus area will give us a map like this to kind of show us where that flooding is actually happening. Over the next couple of weeks, we are looking for staff, community members, and council to maybe provide some feedback on whether or not this is something that you're witnessing or if our data is a little bit off. But we just want to make sure that what we're researching and discovering is the same thing that you guys are actually experiencing on the streets. So in the process of all this, we want to identify ways that we can reduce our stormwater flooding within the area. We are looking at both nature-based solutions, which are our green solutions, and then looking at the gray infrastructure, so things that we can do, whether it's with our pipes and different things that are within the road and how that kind of gets water transported from one area to another. As we find those solutions, we are wanting to work with the community members to really start to incorporate this. We're doing a planting while planning exercise as part of this. Part of that is we're working with residents to plant trees on their properties. Trees' roots soak up a whole lot of water, which helps keep that water off of our roads. So the more trees that we have in strategic locations, obviously not anywhere that's going to cause any issues, the more the better. To date, we've planted 20 trees for this spring, and we are looking for more planting opportunities for this fall. So if you know of anybody, please let them request a tree with us. They would be working with Angela from the Nature Conservancy to pick the tree, coordinate the plantings, and all of that good stuff. They'll do the call before you digs, everything. All of this is free because it's part of the project. It's part of the grant that we received. So the tree and the installation is at no expense to the resident who participates. Also, the second leg of that would be for us to work with our commercial property owners, anybody that owns large parking lots, and then also those residential property owners that may have had grandfathered parking lots as part of their property. All of those individuals, we are looking to work with them. We're not looking to reduce parking, but we are asking people to kind of look at the design of their parking lots. There may be some excess pavement that they have, weird configurations with the lot itself. So you might have like a triangle or something where you can't fit a car possibly, but is currently paved. That may be an opportunity for us to add a rain garden, a bioswale, or something that helps absorb that water and catches it before it gets into our system. And then as we're doing their assessment, as we're doing the outreach with the communities, we're going to set up an implementation plan of different ways that the city can actually reduce that mitigation. That will be part public responsibility and then part recognizing that we do have to work with the private property owners to get some mitigation as well. So that implementation plan will look at what those possibilities could include and then also start to look at how we start to phase that out over time and what kind of funding opportunities are in place for us with the current climate of things. But so far, this project has not been, it is federal funding through the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation via EPA, but this program has been set. It has no issues as of this time of being taken away or anything, so we're kind of just moving full steam ahead to get this work done. So, talked about the implementation plan. In this packet, you'll see some implementable solutions. It kind of just goes, there were images I wanted to show of how the demonstration is something that can be installed under the ground, especially when we're talking to the parking lot owners. So it's not anything, it could either be on the side of the road or under a parking lot, and it's just kind of a system of how that could work. There's also a display out in the foyer that kind of breaks it down in a little bit more detail of what that looks like. On June 17th, we are going to be meeting with a stakeholder committee, which is a small group of members who are going to be hyper-focused on looking at all the recommendations that are coming out of this project with the Nature Conservancy and Fuss and O'Neill, and give us some feedback of what, one, if the swim models are something that this is like a realistic idea of what we're experiencing, and also starting to look at those recommendations in a little bit more detail of what will work and what wouldn't work in certain areas. The 17th, we're still on the swim model phase of the equation, so we'll really probably just be assessing this, and then on our third meeting, we'll be getting more into the nitty-gritty of the recommendations. Also on June 24th, we're going to be holding a virtual open house. We did already have a in-person virtual open house, and we did have a walking tour. It's a design charrette that we started at the Bill Memorial Library and kind of walked around the project neighborhood, identifying different locations for where things can go with the community. We had a small, intimate engagement with the community, but we definitely got a really good wealth of feedback back from everyone. So we appreciate everyone who did come out and encourage you to come out to the June 24th meeting or Zoom meeting. Also, we've launched a project webpage on the Greater Groton website. So it goes into way more detail about the project, all the different events that are going on. It provides you some links going back to our community resiliency plan, a little bit more information about Five Corners and trying to green it a little bit more. It is a lot of asphalt in our Five Corners neighborhood. And then also, we have tools on our website that allow the community members, ooh, where am I going? To engage with us. So tree plantings that we're doing, if you want to share anything about flooding that you've experienced in that area, and also if you would like to request your free tree, you can do this all within the Greater Groton website. I would mention here, just this is a reminder, Greater Groton is a free website, but you do at least have to register to create a profile to be able to engage with us via that platform. So, that is all I had for my update for Five
Okay.
Corners. I know it's short, but any questions?
No, that's okay. I'll open the floor for discussion. Counselor Sheffield?
Sierra, thank you. Very nice presentation. Now, on my street currently, there's a sidewalk construction going on at Hamilton and Dennison, right at the corner, towards those stairs that go down to dump all that water.
Yeah.
Now, is there any drainage with the new sidewalks being put up, the new construction of those sidewalks? Is there going to be any drain in that area, or is that just going to be just sidewalk being placed?
So
corner.
from what I was told, they did install a new catch basin at the end of Hamilton.
Okay.
Before you cross the street to
Right.
get to the stairs.
Okay.
So that is a new one, and there, I think there are a couple improvements that they did to the 3 catch basins that are in that area. But this is directly, that work is being done by Public Works. We're in sync with them, but
Yeah.
it's not directly a part of this project since it's already underway.
Okay. Now, as far as you said, drainage pipes, do we need more drain, I guess, under the ground, as far as infrastructure to, release?
Part of that is what this study is going to help identify.
Okay,
And there'll be recommendations that will come out of this study.
okay,
And we're also working with Electric Boat to open up some of their outfalls as well
okay,
that were closed due to security reasons.
okay. Now, what about roads? Somebody, I don't know if a council member tried to get in. As far as road structure, not so much a sidewalk, but the roads to where at Five Corners, we always get that flooding right at that light. Will there anything be somehow elevated to reduce the water coming towards, right at the light where it's, it's the sinkhole, basically?
So we're not, we haven't gotten to the point where we're doing the recommendations quite yet, so I don't know if that elevation is something that the consultants will include, but we are going to assess all of Paquonic Road, because you can see here, we have it's a lighter color, but you can see how all this water is collecting on Paquonic Road. So we'll be looking for different points where it can either get into the system, or we can prevent it from even getting to the system in the first place.
Okay.
Along this road. If it leads to something, a proposal and elevation, that may be something that comes up in discussion. Another thing that did come up or was revisited kind of just as a recommendation is JLUS. The JLUS study a couple years back did propose a roundabout within the Five Corners intersection. That could be a potential solution for stormwater runoff if that was a direction that we wanted to go in.
Okay.
They're also
everything's
looking at the sheet flow from Sacred Heart and looking at if there's something we could do with bioswales or other ways, either to redirect the flow or to absorb the flow. And then we're looking at trying to convince people if they have to, if they're going to pave, to go from a pervious surface to go from an impervious surface to a pervious surface, because there are products that are out there now that allow water to come through. And so that's something else that will probably come out of this recommendation.
Okay.
Anything else? Anyone else? Councilor Norris.
Thank you. So you said that you have money within the grant to help residents purchase and plant trees. Do you know how much is earmarked for that and how much you've used, how much is left?
I do not have the exact figures as of yet. We have the National Fish and Wildlife Grant, but then the Nature Conservancy has also contributed a grant to it that is mostly covering the planting information, or planting initiative part of it.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, all right, moving on, Bridge Street Gateway update.
Okay, so good old Bridge Street. There's a lot going on Bridge Street. So we are seeking to continue the discussion about our pedestrian and bicycle improvements. This project has kind of been going on for quite a bit of time. It has gone through a couple different, we've received a grant initially for the design of this work. But then as you all know, the state of Connecticut's Department of Transportation is actually proposing a roundabout at the Bridge Street intersection. So with that in mind, this Bridge Street project has taken a shift a little bit. So it will still look at Bridge Street, but instead of going up North Street, it's looking to go down Thames Street to the intersection of Thames, Eastern Point, Smith, and Pequannock. So the city is looking to work with street plans on doing a tactical urbanism demonstration of what those pedestrian improvements could look like. I feel like along Bridge Street and Thames Street. And then we'll be working with the Connecticut Department of Transportation to look at the roundabout and how that impacts. 1 second, let me just. Okay, that's good. We'll be working with Connecticut Department of Transportation to look at the roundabout and actually how that impacts North Street and the other side of Bridge Street. So today, we are looking for your approval to do phase 2 work with street plans. So we have been working with them to coordinate the project for the tactical demonstration to kind of rework our designs given the new, given the information that we now know from Connecticut DOT, to then next year actually move forward and implement this project. We've already invested into some of the supplies and things, so this is kind of just keeping the project moving forward. And I see questions are already coming up, yes.
Are
I
you
think
you ready? Okay.
yeah.
Deputy Mayor Depot?
Thank you, Mayor. So if I'm understanding this correctly, we are kind of pivoting the installation project to a different section.
Yes, yes. Oh, I don't have a keyboard here. Yes.
To go, so where the highway on-ramp, the project was leading up to the highway on-ramp, like if you're coming from Washington Park, correct?
Yes.
And so instead, we're now, if you're facing the highway on-ramp, it's gonna be down Bridge
Down
Street that way.
Yes.
I think this is a great pivot, considering we can't control what the state does with the road there and the ramp, and it's basically going to be probably 2.5 to 3 years of craziness in this whole section with the bridge and everything. So I think it's a great idea to pivot because we still need this kind of project in the rest of the city too. I think it will improve traffic and bikeability, walkability, and all of that stuff. So I think it's a great idea to pivot it.
But not only that, planning and zoning just changed their regulations. That is now in court. There's an appeal. But once we win that appeal, then we'll be able to have some development down on Thames Street, and this will go hand in hand with walkability and bikeability on Bridge Street, which are a gateway, going down to Thames Street, where we'll have new development. So, any other questions or comments? Okay, then I'll take a motion to move this to the mayor and council meeting of June 16th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries unanimously. We are done with that. Thank you.
Thank you,
So
Sierra.
the
Thank you,
next is
Sierra.
boards and commissions. So Eric, I'll get you to come up. Is microphone on? Okay. So the first appointment is Eric Couture on harbor management. He is currently on Eastern Point Historic District. and has agreed to being on the Harbor Management Commission, and because we've had a couple vacancies there for people that have moved. So you have his packet of information in the packet that was sent to you. So I'll open the floor for comments or discussion. Deputy Mayor Depot.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for coming. I know it doesn't always work out for people to be able to come to our meetings, but it is nice to put a face to the name. I just want to say, this is a commission that I think a lot of people don't feel prepared to join, because it sounds like something big and scary and, harbor management. But we need volunteers like you who have experience on the water and know about the water. And so I just want to say thank you so much for volunteering, because I think it is something that unless you feel like you have enough experience, people are reticent to volunteer for it. So I find the harbor management one, sometimes it's hard to encourage people to get on it. But thank you very much for volunteering. And obviously, I looked at your application and resume, and we should feel lucky to have someone like you volunteer for it, because I think, your experience will obviously lend itself to that. So thank you.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, I'll take a motion to move this to the mayor and council meeting of June 16, 2025.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Eric, for coming
Thank
out.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks for waiting.
Okay, the next one is Eric J. to the Harbor Management Commission as well. He is also on he is the chair of the Eastern Point Historic District. And so he's looking to fill an alternate position. So, any questions or comments on that? All right, I'll take a motion to move him to the mayor and council meeting of June 16, 2025.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. All right, perfect. All right, I will take a motion, so that's it for new business. I'll take a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to Connecticut General Statute 1-206 Alpha Personnel, Police Department, to include Mayor and Council, Captain Lito, and Jonathan Strong.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We are in executive session. So, Eric, we're done. Thank you for coming out.
Recording stopped.